Welcome students to a new lecture of electronics. We were studying the C output characteristic curve of the C amplifier circuit. We have seen some of the important features of the C configuration and the characteristic. Now we will understand some more important basic concepts regarding this configuration, regarding the C amplifier. Now to proceed further, what we do, we take this equation that I discussed in the last lecture, that the collector current IC, how it is related to the emitter current, and this is the minority current or the leakage current. This is the graph that you can observe. Now if the base current is made 0, the input current, base current is made 0, then IE is equal to minus of IC. Minus is taken because the directions are different. Then you can use this condition here in this equation, in the equation number 1, let me number it. IE is equal to minus IC, and what you observe that IC is now given by ICO by 1 minus alpha. This is a very important relation and it will take us to many important conclusions. So we can express, this equation is basically expressing the collector current in terms of alpha, the current amplification factor, and the leakage current. And this leakage current, as I told you many times in earlier lectures, you cannot avoid this leakage current because this leakage current is always there due to minority charge carriers that move due to temperature effects. Now ICO, as I told you, it is due to minority charge carriers, and the total collector current in the reverse bias, it is the collector junction current and the minority current. So collector current is not a single current, it is the sum of the minority carriers and the collector junction current. IC, the collector current is the sum of the collector junction current, the current flowing through the collector junction, and the minority charge carrier current, ICO, or the leakage current, minority carrier current or leakage current. So it is a sum, it is not a single current, and leakage current you cannot avoid this. So the reverse current is denoted by ICEO. Now we have two types of semiconductors that are mostly used for transistor manufacture, and they are germanium and silicon. Now let us try to understand, if someone asks you which semiconductor is better for the transistor operation or making a transistor, then you have to keep in mind some important concepts. The first concept is that for germanium, the alpha is 0.9, approximately it is 0.9. So what happens? So in this case, the IC, the collector current, is 10 times the ICO, the leakage current, at 0 base current. So if you are putting the base current equal to 0, then it means even at the 0 base current, there is a significant amount of reverse current or the leakage current that is flowing. So what will be the effect of this thing? First let me write what does this conclusion mean. If ICE is 10 times ICO, then it means even at 0 input current, we are talking about CE configuration. It is for CE, where the input current is the base current. Even if IB is 0, then there is a considerable collector current. Then there is a considerable collector current due to minority charge carriers or the leakage current. Collector current due to leakage current. So this is occurring here. This is for germanium. germanium that has alpha is equal to 0.9. So we conclude that for taking the transistor to the, if you are asked how can you take the transistor to the cutoff state, we have seen that there are three states in the transistor: the active region, the cutoff region, and the saturation region. These are basically three states of the transistor and they depend on the biasing. So if you want to take the transistor to the cutoff state, what you should do? The first thing is that the emitter must be reverse biased. We saw in this situation in the last lecture, and here we will saw by some equation that how the cutoff region is distinguished by the reverse biasing of the emitter junction. So the first condition is that the emitter junction, it must be reverse biased, collector junction is already reverse biased, base current should be 0. This is the important condition for the transistor to be in the cutoff state. And in the cutoff state, we must ensure that collector current is equal to the reverse saturation current. As we saw, IC is equal to 10 times alpha, 10 times ICO, because alpha is 0.9 for germanium. The next thing which is required for specifically for a germanium semiconductor transistor, that IE, emitter current, should be 0, because emitter base junction should be reverse bias, and in the reverse bias there should not be any current. So for a germanium transistor, it is required that you apply a voltage of 0.1 volt across the emitter junction to take the transistor to cutoff region. Only IB equal to 0 will not ensure that the transistor is in a cutoff region for germanium semiconductor. Only IB equal to 0 is not sufficient for a germanium semiconductor to be in a cutoff state. Is not sufficient for a germanium semiconductor to take the transistor in cutoff state. So it is not a sufficient condition. What you have to ensure is that emitter current is also 0. This is the condition that should be ensured to take the germanium transistor to a cutoff state. But in the case of silicon, the situation is different. In a silicon transistor, when the collector current is almost equal to the leakage current, IC is almost equal to the ICO, alpha is equal to 0. So the transistor is almost in the cutoff region, and you are not required to apply any biasing voltage to the emitter region as it was required for the germanium semiconductor transistor, that you have to apply 0.1 volt at the emitter base. In silicon, there is no requirement of applying additional voltage at the emitter junction. So the silicon transistor is in the cutoff state for VBE equal to 0. You can make the base emitter voltage at 0, the transistor goes in the cutoff state. This is one advantage of silicon transistor, that you are not required to apply any non-zero voltage at the base emitter junction as it was required for the germanium transistor. So silicon has proved that it is better transistor material. Now whenever we are discussing transistors, the basic purpose of the transistor or the more useful purpose of the transistor is the amplification. And for amplification, certain parameters are required. The first is the importance of the collector emitter voltage VCE. The collector to emitter voltage is very important because it is used for the following purposes. The first thing that is used, for which this voltage is used, is to check whether the transistor is proper or not, whether the transistor is in the cutoff state or it is in the saturation state. Now, when VCE is equal to VCC, VCC means the biasing voltage at collector terminal. This voltage is used to reverse bias the collector base junction. Biasing voltage of collector terminal. This is VCC. You must remember this. This VCC is used DC voltage to to reverse bias the collector base junction. Now when the collector emitter voltage is equal to this voltage, both are reverse biased, the transistor goes to the cutoff state. When VCE is 0 and VCE is negative, in that case the transistor is in saturation region. So this is the importance of VC. Now these are the two extreme states. I told you in the last lecture that cutoff and saturation are two extreme states. These are similar to switches. Cutoff is the open switch and saturation is the closed switch. Open switch and this one is the closed switch. Closed switch. Here no current is flowing. Here maximum current is flowing. In many cases it appears that saturation region is good, but it is not good for amplification purpose, because here you have achieved the saturation, the maximum current. Now changing the input will not cause any change in the output, so there is no amplification. Now how the VCE is used for amplification? In general, when VCE is half times the collector biasing voltage, reverse biasing voltage, the transistor acts as an amplifier. It can be imagined to be a situation which is a little bit strange to think, that in this case the transistor is a switch which is half on and half off. The switch is half on and half off. This is the situation. And this is required for amplification. This is a necessary condition for amplification. Amplification cannot occur in cutoff region, in saturation region. Amplification occurs in the active region. And this is the condition, this is the equation, this is the relation between the collector emitter and the collector biasing voltage that takes the transistor to the active region. Now you can do the amplification. So this is a very important concept. This is the importance of VCE. If someone asks you what is the VCE, what is the use of the collector emitter voltage, then you can explain, you can give this explanation. Now let us come to some mathematical equations that are required for your numericals and to understand the cutoff and the transistor region properly, saturation regions properly. Now this is the situation you can see. This is cutoff state. IB is 0, IC is 0. This is VCE equal to VCC as I told you in the previous page. So this is the cutoff region. Cutoff region. Now if you apply the voltage rule, you can see the relation between VCE is VCC minus IC RL. This is the fundamental equation that comes into picture. Now if IB is equal to 0, input current is equal to 0 and IC is equal to 0. So this equation becomes, suppose this is equation number 1. So this is VCE is equal to VCC. And I told you in the last section that this is signifying, this is showing the cutoff state. Now you can mathematically verify this equation. Mathematically prove this condition that for saturation, that for cutoff, transistor to be in the cutoff region, it is required that the VCE should be equal to VCC. So this is a mathematical proof. If you are asked this question, that prove that for cutoff region or for the transistor to be in a cutoff state, VCE must be equal to VCC, you can show this. In the next diagram, we can see the saturation region, where you will see again a mathematical proof This is the diagram. You can get this diagram in any textbook. This is the situation for saturation. Saturation state. Saturation state. This is the circuit diagram. You can see it is common emitter. Emitter is grounded. This is VCE is equal to 0. This is base current IB. This is the resistance IC, RL, VCC. Now if we apply this equation, VCE is equal to VCC minus ICRL. Since VCE is 0, so VCC is equal by RL is IC. Now this equation shows that this will be the current that is flowing through this load resistance at the collector end. Now when saturated, a transistor, when a transistor is saturated, it acts as a closed switch and it has negligible resistance. I told you in the previous page. So what you observe from this equation is that whole of the VCC drops across the load resistance. Whole VCC, the biasing voltage for reverse biasing the collector base, appears across RL. This is the important factor. And the collector current has the maximum value. It cannot be larger than this value. IC is maximum. This is the maximum value of current that can flow through the collector end. It cannot be larger than this value. You cannot change. Now if you are changing the base current, this current will not change. So it is saturated. It is saturated. It cannot increase further. This is the saturation region. So these are the mathematical equations that can show how the transistor acts in the saturation and in the cutoff region. So what we have concluded till now, that a bipolar junction transistor that has base emitter and base collector junctions and their biasing, which type of biasing is there for each junction, it decides the transistor performance. Now when we have two junctions in a bipolar junction transistor, there are four possibilities. For a BJT, bipolar junction transistor. What we have in a bipolar junction transistor? We have two terminals, collector base terminal and emitter base terminal. The biasing of these two terminals can have four possibilities, or you can bias them in four ways. Biasing of these terminals can be done in four ways. What are the four ways? Let us see. What are the four ways, four methods, and the biasing type of biasing, it decides what kind of performance, what kind of action that we are going to observe, what will happen to these states. Now the first condition is that both the junctions are reverse biased, and you have seen this is the cutoff state. Both junctions reverse biased, and this shows the cutoff or open switch. You can say it is a open switch, no conduction. Off state, you can also call it off state. Transistor is in the off state. Second, both junctions forward biased. Both junctions forward biased. This is the saturation. Closed switch, anything you can call, or on state. On state. Third is the base emitter junction is forward biased and base collector junction is reverse biased. This is the active region. This is the amplification region. Base emitter is forward biased and collector base is reverse bias. This is the most important situation. And in this biasing, in this method of biasing, what occurs is amplification, active region, amplification, or you can say transistor is active. The first, now try to understand this, this is very interesting. This is off state, this is on state, this is the intermediate state. The transistor is active. It is active. When it is off, it is inactive. When it is on, purely on in the saturation region, then also it is inactive. It is not showing any activity. Activity means if the input current is changing, the output current must respond, or it should show some kind of change or some kind of increase or decrease. That is the activity. So in the saturation state also there is no activity. And in the fourth situation, there is also a possibility that base emitter is reverse biased. Base emitter is reverse biased and collector emitter is forward biased. This is also a possibility. Since you are doing the biasing, this kind of biasing can also be done. But this biasing is not going to provide you any important change or any important result. So it is not used. It is not going to provide you any important effect like amplification. So it is not used. So we have discussed till now the cutoff region, the saturation region, the active region. Now let me remind you once again that the active region is the state when active region is the state when VCE is positive. When it is 0 or negative, it is in saturation. When it is equal to the collector biasing voltage, reverse biasing voltage, it is cut off. And when it is positive, then it means the emitter base junction is forward biased and it is active. So these are the important parameters or important states of the transistor. Now transistor has this transistor, it can be used as a switch also, but we will see later on what is the switch. Now first of all we will try to understand the what you call it, the amplification, and for that some important concepts are required. Now whatever we are talking right now, we are discussing right now, it is for DC voltages. We have not used AC concept or AC voltage in any of the situation. Now let us have some normal DC voltage transistor indications. Let us understand properly the DC voltage indications or DC voltage parameters. Now a transistor can operate as an amplifier if the VCE is half of VCC. I told you right now. If VCE is equal to 1 by 2 VCC, the transistor acts as amplifier. Transistor acts as amplifier. This is the important condition. However, this is a theoretical calculation. In practice, when you are doing some experiment in the laboratory, there are tolerances are always there. VC is always not equal to 1 by 2 of VCC. VCE lies between 25% to 70% of VCC. In practice, for the transistors that are available for experiment, VC is 25% to about 70%, it may vary, of VCC. It is not exactly equal to 50% of VCC. Either they can operate in cutoff or for in that case or for saturation. Now when operating with VCE near cutoff, the amplification is not proper. I will tell you what is proper amplification or faithful amplification. if you have your VCC, because these are the voltages that you are using or that you are applying on the transistor, if VCE is almost equal to VCC, the transistor, it is not necessary that it will go to the cutoff region. In practice, what happens, amplification is not proper. Amplification is not proper, which is also called a situation which is distorted amplification. I will tell you what is distorted and faithful amplification. So in practice, it is not necessary that if VC, suppose VC is very close to VCC, it will not take the transistor to the cutoff state. What we will do, amplification may occur or may not occur, and if it occurs, it will be in a distorted form. Distorted means not proper. If VC is equal to 0 or it is very close to 0, the same thing will happen. Your amplification will be distorted. It will not be proper, or what you require, that result will not be produced. If VCE is very close to 0, then also the amplification is distorted. This word is used for a special purpose. I will tell you what is the special purpose, what is the meaning of this word, I will tell you later. So for transistor to act as an amplifier, the condition is that the collector emitter voltage should lie between 25% to 75%. If it is larger than 75%, in that case the amplification will not be good. If it is less than 25% or 20%, the amplification will not be good. So this is the important condition. Now, when you are using a transistor for your experiment, the voltmeter readings that you should get for proper amplification are voltages for proper amplification, although the ratios can vary depending on the instrument and the experimental condition. For proper amplification what are the important relations? First thing is that your collector emitter voltage should be approximately equal to half of the collector biasing voltage. The emitter voltage, that should be 1/4 of the VCC, the reverse biasing voltage across the collector, and the third voltage, that is, and the third thing that is required, if these two are satisfied, in some cases the emitter voltage may be 75% of VCC, as I told you. So for proper amplification, these are the conditions that are required. Your voltmeter, when you are connecting the voltmeter, let me provide you the diagram. For DC operation, this is the diagram. In this diagram, you can see that, let me rotate it or keep it like this. So this is the condition for VC. If you are VCE, if you are connecting the voltmeter here, these should be the readings. Whatever VCC you are applying, so check before you are performing the experiment. These are the conditions that are required. Now, in many of the circuits, there is a low resistance coil instead of a proper load resistance. So it is not always necessary that you are having some RL in the circuit. It may be a other coil resistance. You have to measure that resistance. So this is about your DC conditions. This is the basic. Now, till now we have understood the basic transistor action and the conditions for amplification. Now, whenever we are talking about amplification, this condition for amplification, I told you, the amplification mainly causes the increase in the voltage and current, and mainly it is the power amplification. Amplifier is a device that causes gain in power. So when we are talking about amplification, when we are talking about amplification, we are actually talking about, we are considering AC. We are considering the AC. Because DC, it has a fixed value, and you have to remember that the DC voltages VCC, VEE, VBB, they are used for biasing the three terminals. Now what will happen? How can we connect a AC signal to a DC biased semiconductor transistor? Now let me show you a diagram, then I will explain you what I am trying to say. And there is a very important concept here, very important component here that I will discuss. This is your transistor, common emitter mode transistor. Now suppose you are applying a AC signal. This is AC. Now try, understand, observe properly. This is the biasing voltage of collector, and this is DC. So you have a DC here, you are applying a VSA AC voltage. Now what will happen in this case? If we apply the AC source directly across the emitter base junction, you are applying this across the emitter and base input terminal. What will happen? It will upset the DC bias, it will disturb the DC biasing, and the result will be the whole of the base current will pass through AC source rather than the base, and what will happen? The transistor biasing will be disturbed. In this case, the AC connected across the emitter base junction, EBJ, emitter base junction, will cause disturbance in biasing. How it will disturb? The whole of AC, whole of IB base current will be through the AC, and since this AC is changing its polarity with time and in terms of time and in direction, so the biasing, the DC biasing will be disturbed through the AC, and this is what we call, it will surpass the DC. It will surpass the DC. It will go above the DC. It will surpass the DC. So the biasing will be disturbed. So amplification will not be proper. So amplification will be improper. So you cannot connect an AC as shown in this diagram. This diagram is not proper. You cannot connect an AC source like this. How to connect the AC source? We have to include one more component in this emitter end or in the input end, and that is a very important component, and it is known as the coupling capacitor. Coupling means to add. This is the coupling capacitor. This coupling capacitor, what it does, it provides very high resistance to the DC and allows the AC to pass through. So if you are connecting a coupling capacitor, this capacitor acts and open for DC, it will block the DC, and it will be a short or a low resistance path for AC. And this capacitance is of sufficiently large value. So this is the concept of coupling capacitor. It blocks DC and allows AC. So this will be a short. If you are connecting this coupling capacitor, the DC biasing will not be disturbed. This is the purpose of using the coupling capacitor. So in the next section we will study about the amplification action, the concept of faithful amplification, and many other things that are related to this transistor. So for the time being, please watch the videos. If there are any faults, if you have any problem, or if there are any shortcomings, then please let me know so that I can rectify it for you. And please like, share and subscribe the videos. Thank you.